I think for this generation that has no attention span, bare knuckle is really a sport that can vibe with them. There's no feel out process. People just go. You know, pro boxing, there's a little bit of IQ to being able to watch that, and for lack of a better word, there's not as much IQ today in fans and the fan bases and people and whatnot. I don't think I'll be around for a while, and my goal is eventually to step away from combat sports altogether. But you know, there's that devil guy, and he's there, and he keeps pulling you back in. So we'll see.
If I could give you one more, then one more fight to have, what do you want?
I want to win a BKB World Championship. So you know, as far as what I'm doing here, I've not really focused on the opponent because it's been more about me and my returning and feeling better and getting the best of myself every single day. And that's been the battle every single day, is getting the best of myself. And that's a win every single day for me.
Is that different to how it used to be?
Yeah.
You always used to focus in on the opponent?
Yeah. Well, focus on the opponent, focus on the mayhem, you know, the chaos, you know. And it's been more so to be the best of yourself. If you're the best of yourself, you can still beat a lot of people, you know. Don't worry about everything else. Be the best of yourself. Even now, I really believe that, you know. So,
do you think we'll ever see you back in professional boxing? Just earlier on when you were talking about Pacquiao and Barrios and things like that.
I've talked to some people at Misfits, and there's things that's starting to, you know, whirl around a little bit. And I am, with my deal with BKB, I am allowed to, you know, be a little promiscuous and go that way too. But you know, glove boxing can't give me the rush of accomplishment. It may be from a financial standpoint, but I don't think I can win a world championship again, though. 147 pounds is so weak that I may be able to make a run. I don't know, you know. Like, again, if you give me a direct shot like they did with Pacquiao, I think I could beat Mario Barrios personally, you know. But I think from a level of accomplishment, because if it's just money, I'm telling you, man, it's just not the same motivation. It's like, it's got to be money and it's got to be accomplishment. And that's why BKB really feels good, feels right. Because, you know, if I could win a world championship at BKB, man, that would be a great feather in my hat, you know. It would be a third weight class because I'm at 154 right now, you know. I think I could make 47, though. The way I've been dropping weight, I think I could make 47.
You're looking good.
Yeah. I'm probably on 154 right now. Okay. So if I'm on 154 right now on Thursday, the weigh-in is Friday, I think with a little bit of suffering, I could make 147. You know? I don't know if I want to do that suffering, but I could make 147. You know. But
you know that if you stay in this world, there's always going to be noise about Conor McGregor. That's always going to be noise.
Yeah, but Conor McGregor's never going to fight me. So it's going to be noise, but it's more so noise just created because Conor McGregor got away with. I mean, granted, you need a stupid enough fan base, and that's why I always say that fan base is too stupid to even reason with. You know, that fan base ultimately still thinks I lost the Lawball fight. Like I'm very attentive even on my social media, even if I don't respond, where there'll be comments about, oh, the loss to Juan Diaz, the loss to Broner. And there's always, without a doubt, there's always an intelligent boxer that comes in and say, yeah, but Paulie won those fights. Somebody will always respond that way. The Lobov loss, when it's brought up, the fan base, I'm not over-exaggerating. This is the stupidest fan base in sports, is the MMA fan base. When there is a mention of a Lobov loss, there is not a single comment underneath saying, yeah, but Paulie won that fight. These fans are actually so stupid that I could dominate a fight, and if I lose it, they'll not even understand that I got robbed. You know, they're actually that stupid. Like, even Saturday, if I beat Tyler Goodjohn and get robbed, yeah, I could, if I dominate Tyler Goodjohn and they rob me because we'll say we're in England, then, dude, I'm telling you, these people are so stupid, all they go by is the result. So, between that and the McGregor thing, how am I going to convince them that the McGregor thing is complete BS? I mean, these people watched the fight and can't figure out what they were watching with the Lawball fight. Granted, I broke my hand. There's a reason why the fight was fought in that manner, not in a certain different manner. But regardless, you have to understand that too if you're a combat sports fan, you know? So how am I going to convince them? What's the point? What's the point of wasting my time convincing them? Like, that didn't really happen. And the reason he's not going to fight me is because you're all so stupid that you believe that story, that he can only lose. He's reached the ceiling with that storyline. He can only go backwards. Because there's nothing he can do that ever matched the image that he portrayed of that story. First, he got his ass kicked even out of shape. So in shape, he would get stopped. And I don't get a lot of stoppages, but that guy would get stopped in a boxing ring with me. He can't box worth shit. So
does it bother you how that's been portrayed?
It used to. It used to because I had nieces, nephews that were on social media, and they would go on my social media page, and there was a time where I could have said, what a nice sunset on my social media, and there would be just Conor McGregor groupies everywhere, boom, 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 everywhere. And they had to see, very dirty things, Doesn't matter for me, but I had kids that were in my family that would look at my social media and understand, how do you explain the things being written there? And like I said, if they're true is one thing, but this guy is a wrestling caricature with no balls at all. If you look at the image, I mean, granted, fair play to him. Off of maybe a 2-year run, he set himself up for life. In reality, it's been a 2-year run, and 10 years is a piñata where everybody and their mothers gets to beat the shit out of the guy, including me, honestly, because he's only getting his ass kicked. But it's very interesting, and I say fair play because you still need a dumb enough fan base. But if you look at what he's done in the past 8-9 years, right, including the sparring with me, it's been strictly, from a combat sports perspective, strictly getting his ass kicked. Only. If you literally look at what he's done, fight, gets his ass kicked. We'll create a bunch of distractions. He'll start a drink line. He'll open a pub. He'll hit somebody in public, and then come back to a fight. Come back to a fight. Oh my God! He's created that aura again. Gets his ass kicked again because definitively that's what he's going to do. He's just going to get his ass kicked every time he fights a real fighter, and then somehow does the same thing again. And somehow by the time he comes back and he's managed to do it again. This White House fight, he's managed to do it again. This guy who only gets his ass kicked and never wins a fight for almost a decade straight, just has been a punching bag for everybody, still does this. It is genius, but you still need a very, very stupid fan base. You still need a very stupid fan base to pull that off. There's no way how genius you are you can pull that off unless your fan base is absolutely moronic.
You want to fight him?
For winner takes all only, and that would never happen. He'd never do it. He'd never do winner takes all. Because at this point, it's not even satisfying anymore. If he gets paid, it's not even satisfying anymore. If we both get paid, so only one of us can get paid in that fight. So it's like, it would have to be winner takes all, and he would never go for it because there's no win for him there. He's not going to win, and surely he'd lose one-sidedly. So it would never happen. So I don't really harp on it. Whatever, he's got his own life going. But I am fascinated by the way he's able to pull it off. I am fascinated. Granted, again, it's the idiocracy of society, but fair play. Fair play.
Magic Man, 44 years old. I just go back on the calendar. Is 44 the new 38 for you? Is that how you feel?
I don't know. I don't know what 44 is supposed to feel like. So I can only tell you what my 44 feels like. My 44 feels good. It just took me getting into shape and getting the work in.
I've been all over the world doing this. Same as Paulie. Look, Paulie, utmost respect. The boxing game is it's really, really hard, and he become a 2-way world champion. So how can I sit here and not respect him? But at the end of the day, I'm a bare-knuckle legend. Been all over the world doing it, and I've done it the hard way. So let's go Saturday night.
How long does this fight journey go on for?
I've been saying I'm here for a good time, not a long time. So
that's been going on for 20 years.
Yeah. But at that time, I was here for a long time. At that time, if you would have told me in my 20s, I would have told you, I'm here for a long time. Like, get used to me. I used to say that, get used to me because I'm going to be around for a while, I remember saying those things, because I wanted to, be in the magazines and be spoken of in the big conversations. So and I was around for a rather long time. From 2006 to 2015, I was rated in the top 10 of everything for almost a decade straight. So I was around for a while. But
what are you proudest of?
What am I proudest of?
Professionally.
Professionally.
Is it the first world title? Is it?
Professionally speaking, my proudest moment, it's probably the first world title. But there's things that you accomplish when you're young that are so genuinely make you happy that sometimes you look back on it and you say, I was probably happier when I did that because you still have all your dreams in front of you. So I think like my first amateur tournament, when I won it, I was still happy because all your dreams are in front of you. Like, I really can do this. I set this goal and I'm already on my way. You know, granted, it wasn't as easy as I was expecting it to be at that point. At that point, I'm thinking like, wow, I'm just made for this. No, nobody's made for it like that. It's gonna be hard regardless. But
and you're not around the BS of the boxing
business
and all that.
Yeah. But I'll say the most amazing accomplishment was winning the first world championship because it was the pinnacle that I had set.
What's your biggest disappointment?
Finding out, you know, people tell you boxing's a dirty game, so and that's kind of cliche, because until you know how it's dirty, you know, people on the outside say it's a dirty game. You know, you have no idea. You watch too many movies. You still think they're setting up fights. You know what I mean? So you're way antiquated with the way you think boxing is dirty. You know, well, boxing is very dirty. I think finding out the mannerisms in the ways in which boxing is dirty.
Does that break your heart because you love the sport?
No, I see that this is a world we live in, you know. The devil runs the world, that's what the Bible says. That's not God that runs the world, it's the devil that runs the world until God steps in and, you know, that point where, again, most people don't want to believe, right? There comes a point where God steps in and removes that system, you know, on earth as in heaven, right? It's the Our Father prayer. People don't think about that. But the Bible also says in 1 John 5:19 that the wicked one runs this world. So it's a part of the system, I think. It's not, boxing is just a little piece of the entire world in general. And so the entire world is corrupt, the entire world, you know. Where there is money, there is corruption. So boxing is a business that heavily runs a lot of money, so there's corruption.
You never shied away from a fight. When you look down the resume, the names that you have shared the ring with, I mean... I did it in a different way than people today. So people you want to compare me to greats. A lot of greats get the option to fight big names on their way down. You look at Canelo Alvarez's resume, it's full of guys who were not at their best when he beat them, you know. But when you're going to look at his resume in 20 years, you're going to say, wow, he beat all this guy. This guy was a champion. When did he beat them? I had to fight most of my guys when they were at the top of their game, most of them, or near the top of their game, most of them, you know. At least that's my losses for sure, you know. I could, if I had the political pull on a TV network behind me, the way some of these guys do, like I said, the way I think I should have had based on the ratings I was getting at the time, I could have got guys on the way down and filled up a resume in big names. As a matter of fact, when I did get those kind of guys, I beat them. You know, Zab Judah, you know, even Juan Diaz, who was younger than me and had been a unified lightweight champion. You know, he came up to 140 pounds there. We fought at a catch weight in between lightweight and super lightweight, and I beat him, you know. So, you know, if I could get you even a little bit not at your best, I could still beat you. And some guys have Hall of Fame careers off wins like that, you know. I thought I beat Broner. He was at his best at the time I fought him, you know. And then, like I said, underrated wins, being the first to dominate Endo, you know, and take his title when Endo hadn't been dominated by anybody. That's an underrated win because the people don't really remember Endo unless you were watching boxing in that time frame, you know. You would have to watch Endo versus Cotto, Endo versus Witter to really understand, or Endo versus Mitchell even, to understand the level of tenacity you were dealing with when fighting Endo, and then watch my fight with Endo when I took his title, and you say, wow, it's a different level of performance. But you would have to have been watching in that time frame to really understand that. There's underrated wins. I'm friends with Nate Campbell, and I've had this conversation with him, and I said, you know, I said, you got to win like that too to him. I said, Kid Diamond, nobody will ever respect that win on your resume because Kid Diamond, you destroyed him and ruined him after that. But Kid Diamond was on a tear when he fought Nate, and he was a 3-1 favorite over Nate Campbell. And Nate absolutely destroyed him, and he was never the same again, and Kid Diamond faded into obscurity after that. So looking back 10, 20 years later, you look at Nate's record, nobody knows it. Today, you won't know who Kid Diamond is. But if you were watching boxing at the time, Almasbek Ramkulov, a.k.a. Kid Diamond, was a beast, tearing through people until he ran into Nate Campbell. So there's people who have that kind of resume too. And then there's, you know, the Monday morning quarterbacks, as we call them in America, where, you know, they'll look back later and look at your resume, and they started watching boxing last week, and they'll say, who did you beat? What did you do? And what did you, and so on and so forth. So, like I said, that's why I do this for myself. I don't do this for anybody else. Well, that kind of leads me on nicely to finish with this. Do you think you get the respect that you deserve?
I don't care honestly. I don't need other people's respect. I just need my own respect. I got to be able to look at myself in the mirror every day and respect myself. And I do that by continuing to accomplish things, continuing to, be the man I am, continuing to, provide for the people I love and help the people I love, and trying to get myself closer to God, because I believe getting myself closer to God eventually needs me to step away from combat. I don't believe combat and God go together. I know a lot of fighters like to thank God and think their success is from God. There's plenty, I can show you plenty of places in the Bible where it says God does not approve of violence, Violence has been used in the past, but there's a motive going forward where peace is supposed to be the way, So I eventually, do have to step away if I want to get through that journey part of my life. And I think that's the most important journey, is that, the search for the right relationship with God.